What's up everybody, it's your girl Tresann and welcome back to my channel. Now on today's episode of Mental Health Talk, I'll be sharing with you my experience of being diagnosed with pre-eclampsia and how it affected my mental health. Now before I go any further, let me just do the preliminaries by bigging up my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel, and to my day one subscribers, supporters, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me for another video. Thank you for coming with me along this journey. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for taking this ride with me. Big up yourself. Always remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so I'm going to be talking, like I said before, about pre-eclampsia and how it affected my mental health. Now, before I share my experience, let me just define pre-eclampsia. What is pre-eclampsia? Now, pre-eclampsia is a pregnancy-related complication, and it's characterized by high blood pressure, and it affects several organs in the body. So, of course, if it's a pregnancy-related complication, then only a pregnant woman can experience or be diagnosed with this kind of condition. It affects your liver, your kidneys, it affects the fetus or your baby. It can cause fetal death. It can also cause death of the mother. So pre-eclampsia is a very, very serious complication. It is nothing to take lightly. It is a very serious condition. Now, pre-eclampsia starts around the 20th week of a woman's pregnancy. And like I said before, it can lead to death. The symptoms of pre-eclampsia are very similar to that of regular pregnancy symptoms. So like the swollen feet, nausea, vomiting. Some of the signs of pre-eclampsia are protein in the urine. So, I mean, you won't notice that there's protein in your urine by just going to the bathroom, peeing. You won't notice. Your urine has to be tested or checked, by a doctor, for you to know that there is protein in your urine. The very common one that, like I mentioned before, hypertension, severe headache, upper abdominal swelling, nausea and vomiting, which is very normal in pregnancy, decreased urine output, the body retaining fluid, and sudden weight gain. Of course, some of these, like I said before, are normal symptoms of pregnancy. Pregnant women have swollen feet. Pregnant women, the pressure too can go up at times because your body going through several different changes, and so it can affect things like those. Who is at risk of developing pre-eclampsia? If you have a family history of pre-eclampsia, then you are at risk. Chronic hypertension, first-time pregnancy, new paternity, age if you're too young or over the age of 35, race, it mainly happens in Black women, if you're obese, and if you have multiple pregnancies. What are some of the causes of pre-eclampsia? This has to do with the placenta. So once there's a rupture with the placenta, which is the organ that nourishes the baby, that brings food and whatever nutrients to the baby from the mother. So once that organ is damaged, or once that organ is affected, then it will cause serious complications to both the mother and the child. So what happened in my case? So of course, my pregnancy, like most pregnancies, in the first trimester, the nausea, the vomiting, the loss of appetite, the regular symptoms, and it was horrible. And then in the second trimester, it was not so bad, but I couldn't describe the second trimester. So I was in my second trimester going on to my third trimester, and I was like, I don't know how to describe this trimester. But anyway, I started having swollen feet, swollen hands, swollen face, and I said, well, swollen, I don't know that pregnant women, have swollen hands. I know that the feet swells. So when I saw that my feet and hands and face and everything was swelling up, I was like, no, what is this? But then, you know, one day I went to work and, you know, my feet were swollen, and of course people will tell you from time to time, elevate your foot. So I elevated my feet and I realized that the swelling wasn't coming down. So I said to myself, no, something is definitely wrong right here. And so I told my boss that I'm not feeling so well and I'm going to the doctor to check it out to see what's happening, because I don't want to take it lightly, you know. And so I went to my doctor, and when I went to my doctor, she told me to pass some urine, and she tested my urine and she told me, there's protein in your urine. Of course, at that time, I didn't understand what that meant, protein in my urine. I didn't understand what that meant. And then she checked my pressure, and my pressure was skyrocketed. And she checked it again and again, and she's like, this is serious. Why your blood pressure level is so high? You know, and protein in your urine, that is very serious. So here what I want you to do. I want you to go to the emergency room of the hospital, do some blood tests, and come back to me. If it is serious, they will keep you. So by this time, my hospital bag was already packed. And so I went home and I just took up my bag because she said they might keep me. So I just took up my bag and I went to the hospital. Mind you, I just went there to do some blood tests and to return to my doctor. When I went to the hospital, the nurses checked me and, you know, they checked the pressure and they were like, no, what? Why on God's earth do you have these kinds of blood pressure reading? Like some 200 and something over 100 and something. Serious something I'm going to tell you about, you know. Anyway, the doctor came and he started explaining things to me. And he said, after asking me, of course, some questions, he said to me, you are diagnosed with a condition called pre-eclampsia, and he explained everything to me. And he said to me that the only thing that they can do, or the best way to correct the situation, is to deliver the baby. So I'm like, okay, when? He's like, no. I'm coming from work. I never prepared to have baby. I was like 7 months pregnant. I'm not ready. My body is not ready. My baby is not ready. I'm coming from work and I just come to do some tests, and you're telling me that you have to deliver my baby now? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Of course, my body is not ready, so I would not go into labor like that. They would have to induce labor. And so he explained the process to me. We're gonna induce labor. They induced labor, didn't work, and so they had to take me to emergency C-section. My baby was born at 31 weeks, and of course he was not fully developed because he wasn't ready to come, and so his lungs weren't developed properly. He wasn't able to breathe on his own, so they had to take him to the nursery for him to be placed in an incubator. Now by this time, I am on the maternity ward trying to recover from my severely high blood pressure that could have probably given me a heart attack or a stroke. And no matter what they did, my blood pressure would not come down. They give me pills after pills, injection after injection. I was like so heavily medicated. It's like I almost didn't even know myself. I was drugged out, basically. And guys, while I was there trying to cope, and of course my baby is not with me. My baby is at the nursery because he came early and they have to work on him. This was a very stressful and trying time for me. This was very stressful. It wasn't an easy task. It wasn't easy, and I couldn't see my baby. I couldn't hear from the doctors. I didn't know how he was doing and stuff like that. And I was so depressed. I was so depressed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And the funny thing about it, I eventually recovered from my high blood pressure, after being on several medications. And then I had to leave the hospital without my baby. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. I understand that they had to take him early, first and foremost, to save both our lives. And it just wasn't easy I was in the hospital and I couldn't see my baby because I wasn't well. I had to be dealing with the after effects of pre-eclampsia. I had to stay calm. I had to stay, I had to be, it wasn't easy, guys. It wasn't, so I had to be taking care of myself, but I was also thinking about my child. And they were telling me a lot of things like, premature babies born with complications, and if they don't born with complications, sometimes they later on develop complications. And these are the things that are going through my mind, and I don't want my baby to die. I don't want anything to happen to my baby. And so guys, thank God for family and friends and good support system, because that's what really helped me during my time of pregnancy and during that period of being diagnosed with this condition. My family were there for me. My friends, my family, they were praying for me. They were, just really, and one of the beauty about this experience that I went through is that it kind of sort of bring me closer to God, because I had to be praying more than I usually do. Sometimes, of course, as Christians, we ought to pray and pray without ceasing, but sometimes when you go through a particular situation, or when you go through a particular experience, a near-death experience, trust me, I did go through a near-death experience, like the whole C-section process, being prepped for delivery, being prepped for surgery. It wasn't easy, because blood pressure is not something to play with, and my blood pressure would not come down to deliver a baby with those pressure reading. Anything could have gone wrong, anything could have happened, but God. And I just want to say to somebody out there, if you are pregnant, or you plan to get pregnant, or you have a sister, mother, whomever it is, a family member who is pregnant, don't take any symptoms lightly. Get yourself checked out. Make sure you follow up with your antenatal clinic. Make sure you get yourself tested. If you see any slight thing, anything that is not normal, go get yourself checked out. Because guess what? I could have sat and said to myself, you know what? My feet being swollen is a normal thing. Pregnancy woman foot swell up all the time. I could have sat and said, that's the case, but I didn't. I went to my doctor and it turns out it was an emergency. I was coming from work. So from work to the hospital room to the next day delivering the baby. Don't take anything lightly. Don't take anything for granted. Pre-eclampsia is a very serious complication. It can cause death to both the mother and the fetus or the baby. And so, you know, you have to do everything in your power to protect yourself and your child. I don't know what I would do if I'd lost my child. I'm a first-time mom. This is my first time giving birth, and it is, I wouldn't trade this journey for the world. It's a beautiful experience and I'm loving every bit of it. And you know, for all that I went through, you know, God is just repaying me and just blessing me in so many ways. That's it for today's video. You know, my experience of being diagnosed with pre-eclampsia and how it affected my mental health. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Keep tuning in for more videos to come. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Yes, leave me a comment down below. Tell me about your experience. If you are a first-time mom, you know, what was your experience like? You might not have been diagnosed with pre-eclampsia, you know, but just share your experience with me. Let's talk as moms, as people, you know, let's share our journey and encourage somebody. So again, thank you for watching and look out for my videos, and we'll see each other in the next video.